I am now joined by Mr. Ello. Chris, first of all, apologies if I kind of messed you up, brought you an hour early. But
Not at all. And it's cold out there. We're wimpy in San Diego, man. It gets down into the 50s at night. We got to get gloves on.
You are not the only pundit. I think you'd have to lump me in there. When we were seeing the dash cam video being sprayed all across the board, we kind of wrote Tiger Woods off, and we're more concerned about him as a person than we were about his golf career. Mulligan? Do you need a mulligan? I mean, did anything you see today suggest that maybe
I don't think I need a mulligan because, honestly, at the time we saw that dash cam video, I said Tiger Woods is in bad shape and he needs some help in his personal life. He went out and got that help. I mean, that's the first thing that he did before he got his golf swing back, and now he's back. But to me, he's just another player on the tour, at least at this point, and he shot even par today. That's about what I expected. He's tied for 83rd place. He may make the cut. He may not make the cut. It's going to be close.
Is making the cut the reasonable goal for
When
this?
he announced that he was going to play here, I told you, I thought if he makes the cut, that's a good tournament for him. I mean, his first tournament back, I think that would be all right.
So are you bullish or bearish on Tiger? Get that?
I'm bullish or bearish on Tiger. I used to love Tiger so much. I still have not overcome some of my ill will toward him for the things that he did.
All right, let's talk about something that might perhaps be even dearer to your heart. Trevor Hoffman getting inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Trevor was making East Coast swing. Let's roll this and then get your reaction. He was in New York today.
Congratulations to the men next to me on their induction as well. I'm humbled by their presence and congratulate them on their enshrinement. I'm blessed to have my family here with me today and in sharing this moment and future moments to come. I truly love you guys, and I'm glad you could be here. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be up here today, and as a closer, I'm going to try and keep it short. Thank you.
MLB.com has posted an article asking readers should they be allowed to play Hell's Bells
when he's inducted. First of all, can I just say that I'm glad he's doing an East Coast tour right now so that the writers on the East Coast can know who he is.
put a name to the face.
Yeah, none of them ever voted for him. So, I mean, he practically barely got into the Hall of Fame. But
Hell's Bells.
I hope of course they got to play it. How many games did you wait until they played that music before you went home to beat traffic?
But they're so stuffy. I mean,
it's time to get with the program.
Going back to the Hall of Fame voting, the fact that we were getting Twitter updates as the hours up to the induction announcement was coming. Why can't we just wait? I mean, I know a lot of writers now are posting their ballot. Like, I know Bernie voted for both Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds, and he obviously voted for Trevor.
Right.
Some writers just want to, in the interest of transparency.
Yeah, but now it's I mean, everything's got to be told ahead of time. That's why we have, I think one of the things that, not in this case, but in a lot of cases, we have a lot of false reporting going on because everybody's got to be first. They don't have to be right. I could have certainly waited until yesterday afternoon to find out if Trevor was in the Hall of Fame or not, but I am very glad he is.
Getting back to that, throw the graphic up, getting back to the poll, 52% of the people who responded to the MLB.com question say, yeah, let's play Hell's Bells. I don't think they've ever played Hell's Bells in Cooperstown before. So.
Who are the 2% who said no?
I don't know. I didn't.
You talk about stuffy.
Speaking before we leave the Padres, their Twitter feed apparently got hacked. Eric Hosmer was going to be signed to a 7-year, $140 million deal. $140 million contract, and everybody got gaga about it, and then suddenly there was...
I think it was from some wishful thinkers that are hoping that the Padres are going to sign Eric Hosmer. I'm on the other side here. I hope the Padres save their $140 million for somebody better than Eric Hosmer. I don't think he turns them into a contender right away. And to me, that's when you spend your money, when you can get a guy that'll turn you into a contender.
When you're a few pieces away.
I think so.
All right, I got to give you your due. I did this during the week, but Friday before the Jaguars and New England's game, you said this.
I think Jacksonville's going to be able to give him a game. I'm concerned that the NFL is not going to allow Jacksonville to win.
Man, you were spot on. Jags got whistled for 6 very important penalties.
98 yards to 10,
and one ticky-tack call in New England.
I thought those 2 pass interference penalties, which set up New England touchdowns, were iffy at best.
And how about this? The first person to congratulate Tom Brady.
I don't get that. What is up with these officials all running over to Tom Brady to say that they shook his hand?
Well, they played a big role in the win.
I guess
Come on, we did it together.
And you know what? The Tennessee game was the same thing the week before. So the 2 games. But look, let's give Brady and the Patriots their due. You got to give him a little credit. He won the game with a bad hand, no Gronkowski. Remember, they've been without Edelman all season.
I know.
They're still getting it done.
Same interview Friday, you made this observation. Take a listen.
That's sports at its greatest. But here's the problem for the Vikings, and they have to figure out a way to be the first to do it. Every one of those iconic moments, every one of those teams that won those iconic games did not win the Super Bowl. Yeah. So let's see if the Vikings can be the first one to take an iconic moment all the way to the championship. I feel bad for you. They laid an egg. I mean, I was thinking back to the old Vikings, Carl Eller, Jim Marshall, and they look like they were playing last Sunday at the ages they are now. Yeah. I mean, that's how bad the Vikings performed in that game.
Eagles were just a better team. The only chance the Vikings had was playing that game at home, and they lost that when they lost to Carolina. Right. Vince McMahon bringing back the XFL. What are your thoughts?
Hey.
We're going to get an XFL. That's the answer to football coming back to San Diego.
Yeah, well, if he gives us a stadium, we'll take him back, won't we? I mean, look, I'll do anything for a stadium. If Vince McMahon wants football in San Diego, let him pony up a little more money and help us get a stadium.
Is he sensing a weakness in the NFL? Is he sensing they're vulnerable? How could he?
I don't think so. I think this is just a guy with a gigantic ego that wants to run his own league and be owner of all 8 teams, which he is. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out.
NBA now wants to take a 1% gambler's fee on all money gambled on their sport.
Yeah, this is not a big story in San Diego because we don't have an NBA team, but the league wants to take revenue from Vegas on all the gambling. My question is, when does the NFL step in and say, gambling's pretty important to our sport as well. We'd like to take a piece of the pie. The NFL, to this point, always tries to distance itself from gambling.
Yeah, but come on, they're going to have a franchise in Vegas.
I know.
That's all.
They're hypocrites, the NFL. So they need to come clean and just step up and say, hey, look, we want our money too.
I saved the most vile sports story for the end. We haven't done much with this, but we can't ignore it. Larry Nasser, the Olympic doctor who is now going to spend the rest of his days behind bars. He appeared before a Lansing, Michigan judge on Wednesday, I believe. We're going to roll this and get your react.
Now they are seeking the media attention and financial reward.
He wanted no part of his...
That was his letter that he wrote, and the judge just tossed it aside and then
like it was a dirty piece of paper.
Said, I'm signing your death warrant. It's one of the most disgusting stories that's come around in a long time, but the bigger picture here is the United States Olympic Committee Gymnastics, USO Gymnastics. I mean, who knew what, how much did they cover up in order to protect
I don't think it's
themselves?
Over yet. All right, so on that note, we call it a night here with Chris Ello. We'll see him again next week.